This episode is brought to you by Noom.
Noom. We haven't talked Noom for a while, but Noom is still a sponsor.
Totally.
Noom. More than just a tracking app.
Yep.
A learning app.
Oh, you learn, you track. I mean, maybe one of the things I love about it the most is every morning is a fresh restart, dude. Right?
That's true. Yep.
Like, you know, you're like, we've debated over time, like, should you weigh in once a month? Should you weigh in once a week? And I never thought every day is a good idea. I thought once a week was a better idea. But I love the check-in. And actually, you can kind of see how your day kind of like leads to the next day. Like you can, in more like real time, you can see what's up.
Yeah. And so our listeners should go to bit.ly/runnersblocknoom. Sign up for Noom there. What Noom is, it's an app on your phone. You track your meals. You learn something about nutrition or your body or why your mind does what it does around food. For me, it's been the thing. Honestly, I've tried a lot of things. It's been the thing that not only helps me lose weight, but maintain a healthy weight.
Yep.
And so Noom has been awesome for me. Now, we've had I think almost 40 listeners sign up for Noom so far.
Awesome.
I think I did the Facebook group wrong. So, because nobody has joined that. So I think that's on me. So, sorry all of our Gomer Noomers. I'm getting on that. I did it a month ago. It just, I don't think has worked. I think it's user error.
Okay. Got it.
So, you should sign up for Noom because we still want to do Gomer Noom Crew.
Yep. Maybe we could
sign up for Noom.
Noomvember or something.
Noomvember. You did it, Anthony. Desnoomber.
So Erin's been crushing Noom.
Yeah.
And actually, dude, I've been talking to her and I was like, because we're always looking at ways to get our sweet wives on here.
Right.
And I was like, would you ever want to come on and, because she always reads me, thinks she's learning, and share like your top 10 Noom tips? And she was like, absolutely.
Yes. Great.
So
that's great.
Yeah, dude.
Coming to patreon.com/twogomers is a double ad.
Yes.
But check out Noom. Go to bit.ly/runnersblocknoom. Join the Gomer Noom crew. Lose some weight. We're all in this together.
Sweet, dude.
Noom. You're listening to Runner's Block, a Two Gomers podcast about regular people chasing big goals by confronting one barrier at a time. This is the second episode of Blocktoberfest 2021 for the week of October 17th, 2021.
Welcome, everybody, to the second Blocktoberfest episode. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, with my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Hello. Oh, Blocktoberfest.
I'm going to crack this Oktoberfest / Blue LaCroix right off the top, okay?
Okay.
Ooh, how's it going? Oh, happy October. Welcome.
Now I've got a little surprise for you because it's Oktoberfest. I'm going to crack.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Yes.
Oh! It went everywhere. It went on Chewy.
Oh, Chewy.
Sorry, Chewy. Hey, it's me, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Raise a glass. Raise a glass to freedom, dude. Raise a glass to freedom.
something they can never take away.
Ein Prosit, ein Prosit der Gemütlichkeit.
1, 2, 3, super!
Ziggy-zaggy, ziggy-zaggy.
Oi, oi, oi.
Ziggy-zaggy, ziggy-zaggy.
Oi, oi, oi.
Where are you going, Arnold? Come back here. Hey, willkommen zum Blocktoberfest. Ein Moment.
Moment mal.
Ich muss ein bisschen mehr trinken. Blocktoberfest ist mein favorite holiday.
Holiday.
Arnold can't remember how to say favorite holiday in German.
Amazing.
See, this is a strawberry bubbly. I've been working through some bubblies. Mm-hmm. Strawberry is pretty good. I can't remember how to say strawberry in German. I remember
Erdbeer?
it being. You're a genius.
Erdbeeren, I think.
How did you remember that?
I don't know, dude. Was it
Not
right?
Spanish. I'm just gonna. That sounds familiar. If you remember what friggin' strawberry is in German and I don't, I lived there for 3 years. Erdbeer.
Was it?
Yes.
Yes. Did you consult Langenscheids?
That little yellow.
Yeah. I carried with me everywhere just in case I
Google
wanted to talk to
translated it.
Janine.
Erdbeer.
Should I translate to?
Oh, whoa. My Google. I just said Google search out loud and my Google is asking me what I want to translate. Nothing. Turn off.
Oh, I just heard a voice. I thought maybe it was Jessica saying Sonos has been delivered.
Late. I'll stop for now.
Thank you. What about Erdbeer Fest? Remember? That's where you got that medal.
Erdbeer Fest. Top male finisher. Erdbeer Fest.
But this is not Erdbeer Fest. This is Blocktoberfest,
Yep.
where we celebrate all things running. Last week was my week. Talked
So
all about
fun.
what I loved about running.
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Can I give a real quick running update before we get to, because it's your week this week.
For sure. Also, just if you're new to the podcast and you're jumping in on this episode, a little crazy bit of a start, but we're just trying to have fun leading up to the holidays. We've had some people say you're talking about blocks too much. You're too blocked.
Too negative.
Too negative. So this is all positive. Even though if you ask an Enneagram 4 to talk about something positive, they have to pepper it with the negative.
Just make sure. Seasoned. Lightly seasoned with
yeah.
depression.
Just depression, disappointment, dissatisfaction.
Yeah, that's life. Okay, but let me tell. I actually had I do have like something sad to report, but I'm not going. I'm going to punt that to when we go back to the blocks. It's not that bad. It's just like
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't do that. I want to celebrate something. So
Yeah.
a new development in my running life is that Jack, my 15-year-old,
Yep.
preseason for track starts next week.
Oh,
and he has
cool.
decided to join the track team.
Sweet.
So he wants to do, you're going to love this, hurdles.
Nice.
So he is starting 2 or 3 days of practice a week. One of those is going to be weight training. So I have all
Dang.
sorts of questions I want to ask him about that.
Sweet.
And then when he's not at practice on those off days, he's supposed to run anyway. So we've been talking about running together. I get to go to
that's cool.
track meets. So
Cool.
the first thing I thought about that was not, I'm proud of you, son. It was, this is going to be great podcast.
Podcast material. This is fodder. Podcast fodder.
Wow. I wonder if we can get a Patreon episode off of this and get any new listeners.
Well, let's get Jack in here for sure.
Oh, good idea. Yeah. Just to like ask him what it's like. I'm curious, and I'm sure that would be fun for people to hear.
Oh,
what
man.
what the running journey is like for a 15-year-old versus people who might be sick of the 43, 42-year-old
Right.
point of view.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. And that sounds super
Yeah.
fun too.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Let me mention this. because we
Yes.
just recorded our perfect Halloween candy episode.
Right.
It's going to be available over on patreon.com/twogomers. But one of the things
it's like a month of celebration for us. We've got Blocktoberfest, perfect Halloween candy. We did ET over there on the Patreon.
if you're not a Patreon, come on, dudes. Like the ET episode, it's just we had so much fun talking about ET.
Yeah.
But also, if you're a Patreon member, you're able to watch this on YouTube,
Yep.
unedited, right?
Wow. As if that's a good thing.
But I'm going to show you the product I revealed
Right.
on that episode. Well, first of all, there's this.
Right. Your Reese's,
still-
your box of Reese's
Now
Pieces.
this is a praise report. This is a health praise report, actually, because we
Okay.
recorded ET over 2 weeks ago,
Right.
and I bought a box, like a movie size box.
Yeah, it's one of these cardboard ones. Right.
It's not movie theater size. This is smaller, but it's that form factor. Cardboard box
Right.
of Reese's Pieces. Mm-hmm. And the box is like 2/3 full still.
Okay. Yeah.
So praise report. I
Yep,
have not
that's
been
a lot of
tempted by that
restraint.
at all.
Praise him. Yeah.
Yeah. Servings per container, 4. Wow. So there's 600 calories in this box. And the serving size is
Dang.
38 pieces.
Okay, so you have that on your desk, but I think you wanted to show this other thing on your
Yeah,
desk.
this is the real product. Okay, so
Okay.
it is Cinnamon Toast Crunch Cinnadust seasoning blend.
Right.
And man, Lily was walking the grocery aisles. She like, you know, she's 10.
Uh-huh.
So she can walk up and down the grocery aisles now. You know, like Erin and Isla will be.
She has her own agency. She's looking at things to buy. Yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
She loves like, oh, you want me to go get some zucchini, or you know, like go pick up celery,
Yep.
or go pick up, you know, whatever, like milk.
Cinnadust.
Yeah, she loves those kind of like little errands when you're at the grocery store. You know what I mean? I love
Right.
that. And so so she's walking the aisles and she sees this logo of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and she grabs it and brings it to Airski. That's her mama. That's my my wife Erin. We call her Airski.
Did you say your late wife?
I was gonna say lady. I know that sounded. I was gonna say my lady, but that was like super weird.
My lady.
My lady.
Now, what's the strangest thing that it says to put that dust on?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because
So
it gives
anyways,
you some suggestions, right?
it's cinnamon. It's basically cinnamon sugar, but if you put it, so you take a nice hearty, high fiber, right? Like nice rich whole wheat toast, little salted butter, and then sprinkle some of this cinnamon toast crunch Cinnadust seasoning blend on it, dude. This is not a sponsorship. Don't worry, anybody. But it is so
Cinnadust.com/twogomers.
right. It is so good though. It
Okay.
makes your toast taste like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. But it does say you can also sprinkle it on toast, yogurt, ice cream, fruit. Actually, apples. That would be pretty
On an
good
apple.
on
I was
apple.
just going to say on an apple, that tart with
And then
that
some
sweet powder.
little bit of peanut butter or almond butter, like for a dipper, dude. That would be the shiznick.
So you can tell we're in a celebration
bomb.
mood. Anthony was just saying if people aren't Gomertrons, that's what we call our patrons. You're missing a juicy ep with that Halloween candy episode.
That was the whole point. An hour and 15 minutes of talking our favorite candy.
we cold
and
call
we
people
cold
and
called-
ask
we-
them what their
We
favorite
went trick or
candy
treating
is. Yep.
to our friends
My
and
kid
family.
makes an appearance.
Yep.
It's a really fun episode.
Yep.
So that's patreon.com/twogomers. Also, don't forget next week. It's too late now. If people haven't called the number by now to
All right.
tell us,
Right.
we've already recorded that episode when this episode is out.
Yep.
But regardless, we're going to hear people's voices. It's a listener Blocktoberfest to end the month of Blocktoberfest. Next week, we're doing a listener ep. Now, you can continue to look at all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. All that stuff is /2gomers. We're going to put another poll up. Please respond. We want to hear as many voices as we can for what you love about running.
For sure. And actually, if you still get this, we can probably throw a few still on because
Oh,
it
yeah,
wouldn't have
that's
been
true.
edited yet.
Ah, that's a great idea. We could maybe put some at the end.
Still, my favorite call ever that we've ever had on the podcast was Dave and Michelle's auto when they quoted me on
when they
windshield
called
wiper
you.
blades. Remember that?
This what you mean is like I liked the one where my plumber called me and was like, it's still broken.
Right. Oh man.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, but we're not here to talk about my woes.
Yep.
We got to talk about this is Anthony's app. What Anthony loves about running. Last week, I had my top 3.
What were they again?
This week,
Go outside.
it gets me outside,
Gets you outside.
helps me be physically healthier, and it makes me into the person that I wish I was in my 20s, in
Right.
my 40s. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yep.
I wished I was someone in my 20s, and now in my 40s, I'm closer to that person because of running.
Right.
So, Anthony has a note on his phone.
It's called Stop Gomer One Loves About Running.
Gosh, he's showing it to me. Oh, wait, he's printed it out and highlighted some things. It looks like some things are circled. There's sometimes when it really, the differences between me and Anthony just like peak. I sent him this really organized. And this is another scribblings of a madman. And I couldn't be happier because I wanted to make that episode my own last week.
Yeah.
I even did the episode and put in all those air horn noises because I knew they annoyed you.
Oh, I loved it. I loved every single one.
So I was like, I hope Anthony can make this his own. And I guess what, listener? I think that's gonna happen.
See, so I love talking to my phone, making notes, making lists.
Right.
And even I said into my phone, stuff Gomer One likes. But
So
it wrote,
but why didn't you change shit?
I think I was out on a run, dude.
Okay,
And so-
that's a good excuse. You can't be, except for it's been probably weeks.
Right. Well,
Where you
but
could have gone in and corrected it, but it's too funny.
yeah, but so I didn't in the end because it was too funny.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you
So yeah, there's a lot that's like, I feel like, when you're in your teens, when you're in your 20s, you've got that little trajectory that's like 1% off, right? Like from Atomic Habits, you like, if the trajectory is 1% off, by the time you get from New York to London, you'll be like way off, right?
Right. You'll go
So-
to Greenland or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's totally us, but in more of like a life and personality sort of way, is like you're more similar when you're hanging out, when you're in your teens, when you're in your 20s, and like you just evolve and
Right.
grow into the person you are. And so I feel like the older we get, the more mature, the more wise, hopefully the more loving, right? Like that's like our absolute goal.
Right.
But also the more different and the more like set in your ways too.
You're totally right, and that's not a bad thing.
Not at all, because you're becoming the person. You're becoming more and more of in who you are, who God made you to be, and
Right.
in your skin. Like, and so like, for example, you and I have just different marriages. Right? Like you and Jessica, me and Aaron, we have. Not that Jessica isn't, I'm sure she is, but like Erin, my wife, is like the most organized, administrative minded person. Like if I didn't have that, I guess if I didn't have that, I would just have to develop it. You know what I mean? Like
true.
I
Yep,
totally, but like I married her, I was 24, she was 22. So first month of marriage with a rent check, Aaron sent it in. You know what I mean? Like credit card bill.
And that's how
lights,
it's been since.
gas.
Right.
And so like you and I were talking like a couple weeks ago. just about like purchasing habits.
Right.
And I was like, I don't even know how to log into our bank account.
And I mean, I think I texted you just the word faints with the two
Yeah.
stars on either side
Right.
because I got dizzy when you told me that.
Like
Because
I
check how much money we have like all the time. Every
Yep.
purchase we make, I make sure it's got. Oh, can I afford the? I write every.
Yeah.
And now all of it is like automatic. It's not
Totally.
like I write a friggin' rent check
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a mortgage check.
Right.
Everything takes it out. But I mean, it's so. I think that's like that moment.
Yeah.
It's like a sliding doors moment where she sends in the rent check.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
then that puts a trajectory
Yep.
where I sent our rent check
You
in or
probably
something,
sent your
and then
first
here
one.
we are 22 years later.
Yep. That's that 1%. Now I do know I was like 20% joking.
I think you were trolling me a little bit. Yeah,
I was trolling you a
with all
little
that
bit, but
stuff.
I haven't looked at our bank account in like 6 months.
I mean, I'm gonna fall over.
It's just because Erin,
She's got it.
She's she's incredible at that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
and she's super responsible. And that was, and so you were like, how do you know when you can buy stuff? And I was like, I actually don't really buy anything. You know what I mean? Like the only things I really buy are like groceries.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm just like,
I guess
know.
put some more Cinedust in there.
yeah, we need more Cinedust.
I'm sure we can afford it.
I don't know.
Priorities. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are not my fortes, but those are your fortes.
So what you've got is and I couldn't be more happy about your Stop Anthony
Stop. Gomer One loves about running.
Gomer One loves about running list. And so instead of like, here's my 3 things and they're all organized, I thought it would be fun if we just kind of like went through as
you want
much
me-
of that list as we
Do
can.
you want me to read this like a script?
I sort of do.
Let's just try this. Okay.
But can I stop you when I have
yeah,
a
yeah,
question? Would that work? Okay, great.
Oh, for sure.
All right. So these are the things that Anthony loves about running.
Well, here's
for
something else I
Blocktoberfest
do.
2021.
Here's something else I do. Here's my organization technique.
Yeah.
So like it actually starts, the note starts here.
At the bottom?
Friendship. Like you see there.
Oh,
Friendship.
in the middle?
Well, okay, it starts there. Like I'm working on it. And then as something becomes more important, then I go
see. You
above
put it
that.
up top. Okay.
And then earlier today, I actually added to that note. And so then I wrote some of that there.
Yes, that's the scribblings. There's a method to the madness.
Right.
Okay.
So actually, I'll start in the middle. Actually, I'm going to start in the middle, which is the
Okay.
top of original. If this is driving people crazy, this is going to work out. Don't worry.
I trust
Don't worry.
you.
Okay. Yeah.
This is
don't
called
worry.
in media res is the term I learned as an English major in my script writing class. In the middle of the action. So when a movie starts in the middle.
Well, this is when I started listing my favorite things about running.
Great.
And then the biggest epiphany came later. And so that's why it's at the top,
Yep.
which means in my mind it's the most important, which is why we'll save that to the end.
Okay. That surprisingly that makes sense to me. All right.
Okay.
Let's start in the middle.
All right. So okay, this is a little heavy.
Okay.
I didn't really know how to say this exactly. My first favorite thing about running though is the camaraderie / friendship element, the thing that brings people together. So here's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know that I love running.
We've said this before. That's why it's things I love about running.
Right.
But running is hard.
Right. So this is sort of like the high concept. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
I battle with this like every few weeks. Like, I mean, like I am not on the podcast because I love running.
Okay.
I'm on the podcast because I love you, bro.
our friendship. And that's why people listen to the podcast, I think, not because, I mean, there's plenty of other places they can go to learn about running, right? And we've tried to focus, especially with the runner's block thing, on running more.
Yep.
But my suspicion still is people stick with us because of the friendship.
Totally. If they want to listen to running, learn about running, listen to Ryan Hall.
Right.
Well, no. Listen to us. I don't mean don't listen to us.
We do. We have gotten better, and there have been seasons where we're much more like
Totally.
I think like intellectually, like here's how it works, but I think the constant
Yep.
has been the friendship on the podcast and in the running.
For sure.
journey.
That's what
Yeah.
people. That's the secret sauce. That is the cinnadust of this podcast.
Right. That's true. I love it. Yes,
Actually, it's not the cinnadust. It's actually like the whole wheat bread of the podcast. Maybe, I don't know.
right. The foundation, the vehicle for the Cinedust.
Yeah. So that's what it is. So like, I guess I love talking with you about it. I just love that it's kind of like your third point from last week, which is it has been the vehicle. It has been like the thing that launched all this.
Yeah.
Like if it weren't for running, this podcast wouldn't exist. We'd still
Right.
talk probably once a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
You think we would?
I don't actually. Maybe not.
I wonder if it'd be less.
I mean, our friendship may have actually gone the way. Like, I love you, Krause. He is not listening. Doesn't even know how to find us, even though he's been on our podcast. Our friendship actually might be more like me and Krause or you and Krause, which is every few
Sure.
months have a long chat or text
A close friendship. It doesn't seem like we have to. Every time I talk to Krause, it's like it hasn't been that long, right?
Totally.
But you and I, that's a different thing, right? I mean, there's a very close, lots of communication,
Yep.
and we do. There's like this like adventure bonding,
Yep.
right? Like we do things together that strengthen what we have.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a thing of it's the brotherhood of a movie like Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers. I mean, we're not at war, but like
We run slowly. the run slowly version of
no. But
Saving Private Ryan. Yeah.
no, but
I know.
it's the when you do something together, when you do anything together, when you go on a mission, it's adventure, like you said, that just bonds. So like even launching a podcast, launching a different podcast, rebranding a podcast, over 13 years of doing this.
Yeah.
And just like ET is my why, running is like the why of, and if that doesn't make sense to people, go listen to the ET episode.
Two Gomers.
Yep.
Patreon.com/2gomers.
Yep. We really want you guys to come over there. We put so much effort into the bonus disc.
Yeah.
Like
and it's good stuff.
It's not just the burnt ends, even though burnt ends rule. It's
Right.
yeah. So anyways, that'll be my first one is it's been kind of like a glue and
That's a good. Yeah, I like that analogy. Yeah.
it's why.
been the
And
glue.
I don't ever go for a run where I don't think about you or the podcast on some level.
Right. Yeah.
So that's number one. Actually, number two.
Awesome.
So the journey. I just wrote the journey. I don't know what that means.
Right. We all are learners.
Working. The journey's not in that. I don't think.
Yeah, but
okay, here we go.
It's not the destination, it's the journey, right?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
thought that was the yeah.
Well, I mean, I have a whole another one down at the bottom that just says the sayings. So
what's that mean?
we'll get there, and I'll read that as a script.
Okay, great.
These three kind of go together. So friendship, the journey, the podcast. So what I wrote under the podcast is, so this is all kind of encapsulated in that thing that I love
Right.
about running, is that guaranteed I'd be 30 to 50 pounds up
Yeah.
if we hadn't started running and hadn't started the podcast. Guaranteed.
And so for me, that's twofold. One is the actual running,
Yep.
but the other is the like accountability,
Yep.
not only to you but to the listeners.
Totally.
Because we did lose 20 we've done challenges, right, that are beyond running.
For sure.
But it's also like it's more than, this is to you listeners, right? You're more than listeners. You're more than an audience.
Yeah.
It's like they're participants in this.
Yes.
And so for me, it's like that keeps me getting out there
For sure.
and taking care of myself. That's not bad, is it? I mean, that's just
No.
whatever works.
Totally whatever works. And you don't need a podcast to do that because clearly our wives don't have a podcast and they're crushing it. So,
How do they do it?
right. But I'm just telling you the truth. Had we not started,
Yep.
like my health would have almost guaranteed gone out of control.
Yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
was the time, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So thankful. We've said that before, but I have to say that again. So,
Yeah, I agree.
okay. The future goal is something I love about running because
Yeah.
you can't cram for a race. Like you can't cram.
Yeah.
You can I could pull a 5K out of my butt. I think I could pull a 10K out of my butt in like
Yeah,
2
you probably
weeks if I had
Yeah.
to.
Yep.
But you can't pull a marathon, you can't pull a triathlon, you can't pull a half marathon. You know what I mean? It's something that
Yeah.
is in 3 to 6 months that you have to work on now. And so
Right.
like this again, I know these are kind of similar themes to what you were talking about last week, but like
That's fine.
as like a natural procrastinator, it's super helpful to have a long-term goal, but then be working on it now.
Right.
So
Yep.
that is something that running has super helped me with.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me too. And you know how we were laughing a couple episodes ago, like, we started with a half marathon. That was so dumb. We should have done those other ones. And you were
Yeah.
like, no, wait. That wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't have. I don't think the podcast would have lasted if we had started with a 5K or a 10K.
Right.
We needed the big future goal.
Yep.
First of all, it's way funnier.
Yep.
But also like we could have done a 5K, and anybody can. That's the beauty of a 5K.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But having a bigger goal that took a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
I think really developed us super quickly
Yeah.
into runners in a way that a 5K or 10K wouldn't have.
Yes. Totally agreed. Okay. Next, the atomic habit.
Here we go.
So atomic habits not only start small, but I think atomic habits perpetuate other atomic habits. And so
Right.
this is like the habit that begat good habits in a lot of ways.
Yep.
So like
It begat, yeah. So running is like the habit that it's like what, a key habit or like a core habit,
yeah,
a big domino or
Yes,
something. I
yep.
don't know how you would say it, but it's one of those things that, like you're saying, produces other habits.
for sure. So this weird thing happens for me where like, well, it's like what you said about like, if you run more, you sleep better. And if you sleep better, you run more. So like for me, it's like if I'm getting out there, getting outside, moving my body,
Yeah.
I actually eat better. So
Right.
So it's more
cyclical.
It's cyclical like that. So like kind of like the analogy of the rings on my watch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, let's check
Okay,
that out,
right.
dude. So
How's your rings?
well, actually today not super good because I didn't do my pre-meeting or pre-rehearsal walk with Indy in the morning. Like
Oh, right. You had to get out the door in a different way this morning.
This morning was a little bit different, and so I wasn't able to. But normally my rings are closed by like at least the green and the red halfway by 10 a.m.
Right.
And so like
Yeah.
that combined with like making your bed Pray
Oh, you're speaking my language.
pray as you
now.
go, which if people are interested in this like contemplative, just it's 12 minutes. The app is called Pray As You Go. I think they also have a podcast, but it's just a little bit of music, a little bit of scripture, and a prayer. It's like, so you've got your make your bed, pray as you go. I do my chapter, some quiet time, either walk or run with Indy.
Yep.
And dude, that core habit, that domino, that keystone habit, which also helps you go to bed the night before.
Yep.
And that
It sets it up. It sets all those dominoes
Totally.
up. I mean, we've talked about this so much, but it just feels so important that it's like you got to start it, or by the end, those dominoes aren't going to fall. You've got 20 dominoes that never got started.
Yes. So that's what I mean by the habit that perpetuates habits. And maybe it's almost like the habit number 8 out of 10, but it leads to the turning off your phone or putting it in Sabbath mode or something like that at 8 p.m. So no social media after 8. So read a book. So plug your phone in the bathroom. Like this is like I'm tip stacking here. But these are all practices that I'm getting darn good at and are really making my life so much better. And that all started with getting out there. So
Dude, I got to tell you something.
Yep.
Eat the Frog.
Oh, I'm getting there. Don't worry.
Me and Jessica and Jack and Noah sometimes watch the show Making It. Have you ever heard of that show? It's with Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec.
Okay.
And it's like a Great British Bake Off, but with crafting.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen a preview for that.
It's like a crafting show. So we're watching this the other day just to chill. Then Amy Poehler goes, "Hey, have you ever heard of Eat the Frog?"
Oh, dude.
And Nick Offerman is like, "No, what's that?"
Give me the clip.
And she explained it perfectly. I'll send you the clip and you can put it in right here.
Perfect.
Were you a procrastinator when you were young?
I can still be a procrastinator.
You know that term, eat the frog? Love that term.
I don't.
It's a term like do the thing you want to do the least first thing in the morning. Eat the frog. So it's the phone call that you don't want to make. It's the paper you don't want to write.
The email you don't want to reply to. That's one. I didn't know that saying because I love to eat frogs. Frogs are delicious.
You didn't hear that, but trust me.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't forget to tell Anthony about this because she explained it really well.
Ooh.
And Nick Offerman was like, "Oh, that's awesome," or something. Now you have heard the clip, so maybe he didn't exactly do that.
Yeah.
But it was one of these things where I was like, "Hey, they've been listening to the Gomers."
I didn't know Amy Poehler listens to the Gomers. This rules.
It certainly wasn't from Mark Twain. She heard that. It must have been from Anthony.
Yeah. Don't you worry, dude. Eat the frogs in here.
Okay, great.
Eat the frogs in.
I just in case it wasn't, I wanted to make sure.
Yes.
I let you know about that. It was so fun.
Actually, okay. So speaking of that, I had this thing. It just says the sayings / the life lessons / analogies.
Okay. Now I get it. The sayings. And Eat the Frog is one of them.
Okay, here we go. Life is a marathon, not a sprint.
But so these can be sayings that we came up with or sayings that are just in the ether about running.
Yeah.
Because there's so many analogies too when it's like, oh, it's like running a marathon.
This is why I say things I love about running are the analogies and the sayings that come from it. And once you have done it, they mean so much more. Because you've
that's pretty good.
You've been in the
like
middle
that.
of it. You know what I mean?
Can I give another example of that?
Sure.
We've been chopping wood. And I've always heard the saying, and now I'm going to butcher it. Something like, "He who chops firewood warms himself twice."
Oh, something.
Which is like, it's like about doing your own work,
working
right? So
out.
that you're warming yourself
And
when
then-
you do the work, and then when you reap the benefits later. And I was like, oh, fun saying. And I'm out chopping wood.
Yep.
And I'm like, there's a reason why it's a saying.
Oh gosh. Well,
So I totally agree. And then it means so much more to me. I love this thing about like when you run, you get it.
for sure. I mean, it's one that I love that I didn't put down is a stitch in time saves 9.
Right. Yeah.
That works for running, but it works with like everything. Like when we talked on the episode about maintaining, like we like just staying the same takes work. You know what I mean? Like you just so it's like if you're getting worse, you're not doing that stitch in time, and then you got to do 9. You know what I mean? Or 8 saves 9.
for sure.
So is 1 included in the 9? Is it a baker's dozen?
I would say it's 10 total.
Okay, 10
stitches
So
total.
you do 1 and it saves 9. So you get 10
9
worth or
later.
9 worth? 10 worth.
I see. I've always thought about it as 10 worth.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I got a couple more here.
Okay,
It's
great.
not
More sayings.
that you had the strength to finish, but the courage to start.
That's a Bingham, right?
I think so. The penguin himself.
I think that's a John Bingham.
Yeah.
Yep.
He also said the slower you run, the more value you get from the race fee. Right? I love that.
Because you get so much more time.
He's like, we're just getting our value. We're getting our,
Yep.
our money's
I love
worth
that.
out of this this
I
track.
forgot about that one. That's funny.
But actually, the thing is, I love that though. Like having the courage to start something new. That's
Yeah.
what we really did with the podcast. That's what we did with running. I mean, I feel like
Yep.
that every time I go out. Actually, it's just like you're just showing up, and you know. So this leads to our Eugene Peterson long obedience in the same direction, which is maybe it's like up there with like life quotes for me. And basically what that means is you're being faithful.
Right.
You're showing up and doing the same thing every day. Like it's kind of countercultural because it's not showy, it's not flashy.
Right.
And obedience is not really a super popular verb.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
Why? Because it connotes like you're beholden to something, or you're just
right.
aimlessly following. That's not what we mean when we say obedience. It's like doing what you said you were gonna do. We've been using faithfulness a lot the past several weeks. I feel like in the podcast. And it's not you're accomplishing something huge. You're just doing what you said you were gonna do.
Yep. A long
Over and
obedience
over.
in the same direction.
Yep.
I mean, that's what I do when I practice my instrument. I'm just showing up, and the older I get, the in like playing music, the more it's just become about the fundamentals, and like that's just about it.
Right.
Making a good sound, playing long tones and etudes. It's like I'm going to be doing that when I'm 80. Actually, maybe not when I'm 80. I don't know.
Yeah, you mentioned on a past podcast that you wouldn't be doing it when you're 80.
Right. I don't know, but I have a whole nother thing about that. We have to talk about that, dude.
All right.
Okay, we have to talk
Later.
about that. Later,
Okay.
for sure, not now. Finally, for this section of the life lessons, eat the frog, dude.
Yeah, eat the frog. Drink.
So
Drink.
this is my
Drink.
last favorite thing about running. We
Yeah.
can finish with this one.
Okay.
So my last favorite thing about running is, and so it's going to get to eat the frog, is
Okay.
that I've mentioned this a bunch of times, and we've never done a whole episode about it, and I don't think we really. Maybe we will if somebody shares with us. But depression, anxiety, those are things
Right.
that have been really, at something I've been dealing with for the last few years.
Right.
And running, walking, getting outside the door gives me an action step. Like I heard John Stewart, I'm not sure how I feel about this theologically or anything, but I heard John Stewart say, action is the antithesis to anxiety. So it's like an action step. It's like something to do to battle those things.
Yeah.
Like it is an extremely powerful tool, and it is therapeutic. It is, we've talked about this on previous episodes. It's akin to like an antidepressant. And
We're
not
not
saying people shouldn't.
doctors.
Yep, not doctors. People need to
Both of us
consult.
knew we were going to say that.
I know, totally. But when I'm struggling, like on a day with anxiety, depression, something like that, it's often a sign. So depression and anxiety are signals. They're not the thing.
Right.
Like they're the check engine light of your soul or your mind. It's like
Right.
that's not the problem. There's something else. So it's usually a sign to me that there is an uneaten frog.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So there is some frog staring at me in the face.
Just glaring.
Yep. And thank
know.
you, Amy Poehler, for describing it earlier. But so the frog can be anything from a to-do list item or
Yep.
a massive to-do list. It can be
Big project.
a big project, but it can also be often relational
Okay.
tension, some
That's
communication,
unaddressed.
totally unaddressed,
Yeah.
relational tension, just angst, work angst, career stuff.
I said this last episode, but one of the frogs that was just a thorn in my side before was unanswered communication. So when somebody would text me or email me
Yep.
and I wouldn't respond, and it was just like I needed
Yep.
to eat that frog and just friggin' text back
Yes.
or email back.
Yes.
So it can be that. It can be like a question hanging out there that you're supposed to answer,
Yeah.
and it's there. That feels relational to me. Like that just when you said relational, I thought of that.
Oh, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Like if you're listening to this and you have that feeling of like tension, it's very likely that there is something that you are supposed to do, some frog you're supposed to eat, which could be there's a relationship you need to mend. There's somebody you need to forgive. There's stuff that you're holding on to that you need to let go of. And for me too, it's like there's some, like the super high concept of it is there's something that I need to detach from,
Right.
which
Some
is why
unhealthy attachment.
Yep. See, that's us in our continuing growth of becoming contemplatives which is why my secret one word this year has been detach.
Right.
Detach
In
from
a
the
healthy
tethers,
way.
man.
Yeah.
Yes, not in the
Yeah.
just become detached. Just
Just
whatever.
don't care.
Just don't
Yeah.
care. No, it's like you need to detach from the things that are like just tangling your mind, man.
So when you run, that is helpful for you in the rest of the areas of your life that you need to, the other
Yeah.
frogs in your life that you need to eat.
For sure. It's an analogy for eating a frog,
Right.
but also it's the habit that perpetuates habit. So sometimes, like I've talked about the garbage, like taking out the garbage, running is like taking out the mental garbage.
Yeah.
Like it's like it declutters your mind in like a metaphysical way that nothing else does. Well, getting outside, looking in 4K plus, no wait, 8K, whatever your mind can do. Like, dude, I was looking at the sunrise the other day, and like the gradient from almost black to blue. Like you know, if you're like looking at a TV screen, you can see lines.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you can't get resolution high enough to be the actual
To do
sky
that.
and your eyes.
I love it. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So like, yeah.
So like getting outside is a piece of it, right? But then there's also like the actual physical
The
exertion.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It declutters.
Doing what you said you would do.
Yeah, it's the obedience, it's the decluttering, it's the eating of the frog, and so like a lot of times just that, it's almost like it's a catalyst. It's like lighting a spark that starts a flame or something that
right.
then gives you kind of like the decluttered mind to then maybe make that phone call or do that